Every musician has a story about how they got here, and every single one of those stories is different. But they all have one thing in common. Something kept pulling you back. Today, I want to talk about that pull and who you are in the journey. Have you ever tried to explain to someone why music matters to you and found that words aren't quite right? Is there a version of your musical self you've always imagined, someone who plays with confidence, expression, and real excitement and joy that you haven't fully become yet? And wouldn't you agree that it would feel so powerful to know that wherever you are on your musical journey, whatever your story is, there's a clear path forward from here to get you exactly what you need and you want? And wouldn't you agree that if you knew what kind of player you were, that could be the first step to aligning with other people in your same situation and becoming the person you always wanted to be through music? If we haven't met yet, I'm EP Archer, and I help committed adults over 30 who play an instrument or sing create beautiful tone and unshakable confidence without compromising who they are or the music that they love. My own journey is full of times where I gave up, where I quit, where I came back, where I felt like I had a different identity than maybe I currently have in music. You know the story in one of the earlier podcasts where I actually quit the violin in middle school. I had a really big audition. I was super stressed out, and I came back to it, right? I had an awakening as a songwriter when I was in high school, but I didn't self-identify as a songwriter or a composer, but I was writing things and I was having these musical ideas, and I was doing my classical degree and I was drawn to jazz, and that became a part of my future vocabulary or something that I was working towards. And I had an epiphany about somatics and physics of the violin and how to play holistically and healthfully when I was in grad school. And so it's not one journey, right? It's not just one person or one shift. I think at different times in our life, we all have a little bit of a different type of identity shift. So I have a few for you. I want you to listen and say, which one sounds like me? And we're just going to go kind of in a random order, but we're going to go over all of these different archetypes in detail over the next 6 sessions. And I hope that you will enjoy that exploration, hear and feel a little bit of yourself either now, in the past, or in the future in some of these archetypes, and find that opens up the path for you to move forward. So we have someone who has unfinished business, the unfinished. And this is so common. A lot of my students, many of them had bad experiences as a kid or as a younger person than they currently are, or they had a bad experience with a teacher. They had some sort of limiting belief experience where they believed maybe they were tone deaf or they couldn't sing, or that created for them, I don't get to identify as a musician. And if this is your archetype, you finally get to do it on your terms, not anyone's definitions. We have people that are breakthrough seekers or travelers of instruments. And those are people, if this is you, you're someone who's already playing, or you come from one instrument to another, but you're hitting a ceiling and you want something to crack it open. So maybe you became a proficient guitarist and now you're attacking the violin. Maybe, you played ukulele and now you switched to guitar, or you're a singer that's adding an instrument to be able to accompany yourself. And the truth for you, if this is your category, is one real breakthrough changes everything, because that breakthrough is now going to be relevant to everything you do, not just the one technique, style choice, or thing that you're opening up in one aspect. It's going to carry over. We have the ambitious, okay? If this is you, you don't necessarily have a music background or a violin background, but you are a driven individual. You are not afraid of challenge, and learning an instrument is just one of those things. It is someone who is all in, who is going to do whatever it takes, expects it to be hard, expects things to come up, and is ready to deal with it. They have made a commitment and they mean it. And if this is you, you are yearning to master something that is genuinely difficult, genuinely outside of what, quote, the average person, the normal, quote, whatever kind of word we want to use, but the pack. You want to and crave doing something that sets you apart from the pack. And so the next one is someone has a fresh commitment, the fresh commit. You've never fully committed before. Maybe you've played before. Maybe you've dabbled. Maybe you've sang. Maybe you've dipped your toes in the water, but you haven't been effective yet. You haven't found a way to not dabble, to not waste time, and to build on solid ground. And usually the reason is the way we're exploring is not always linear, but when we're following a muddled path or we're going from here to there, it's hard to put together those pieces in a solid foundation. And all you really need is someone who needs real feedback from the start, from an expert, from a community of people like you, from a place where you can trust and go to, so that that fresh commitment gets immediately supported by that mindset feedback and that music specific feedback. Our next archetype is the classically trained. And if this is you, this is someone who is proficient on instrument or voice and has had classical training. That could be private lessons, that could be a music degree, that could be playing since you were a kid in the classical tradition. But this is somebody who has become proficient in one of these areas, disciplined, theory literate. And now when you switch to something else like the violin or the guitar, you need violin specific physical intelligence. You need that somatic resonance to come into contact with what you are now doing with your body. And I love that kind of transference, because as soon as you figure out what it feels like and what correct feels like, sounds like, and you coordinate that, you're able to add a very difficult instrument like the violin or the piano with real depth much quicker because you have that foundation. And finally, one of my favorites, this happens all the time when people come and sign up to work with me, and that is the inspired. Maybe your grandpa bequeathed you a violin and it's been sitting dusty in the attic and you've always wondered, and it's from the 1800s. Maybe you have kiddos. You're a mom or a dad and your kiddos have expressed a desire to start an instrument, and that has gone, I want to do that too. It has inspired you. Maybe good old Aunt Bessie or Uncle Jim, someone in the family sings and plays songs, and whenever the family reunion happens, they're the person, and you have a bit of a yearning to join in, to be a part of that. But a friend, a family member, someone close to you, or someone who made an impression at some point in your memory makes you remember and helps you to feel drawn to it. And this is a really beautiful archetype because it is based on connecting with music through someone you love, admire, or that you had a positive music experience with. I still remember my first inspiration. It was when a lady came to my school and I was very young and she played all the string instruments. And I remember feeling so excited. But then when the violin was played, I remember feeling like touched and affected emotionally in this different way. And of course, I wasn't processing it like that as a kid. As a kid, I just went home to my parents and said, I'm going to play the violin. And they were like, what? And I said, the lady came and now I'm playing the violin. And it's a part of my story that I love to tell. So whoever's inspired you or created that beautiful memory, let's thank them now. And if you're the inspired, that is what is going to keep fueling you. The thing that every single archetype and all of our stories share is that inkling, that pull, that desire, that longing, that thought in the back of your mind never went away. So regardless of how long you've been away, what went wrong, what instrument you play, what level you're at, whether you sing or dance or play an instrument, something connected you to music and kept you connected even when you weren't playing. That pull is the most important data point you have. And it's not just a facts and figures on paper data point. It's an emotionally connected part of your purpose and your deeper identity. Remember, the research on music identity shows us that it's one of the most stable aspects of our adult self-concept. People who identify as musicians, even ones that have lapsed, carry that through decades of not playing. It doesn't go away. It waits for us. This shared desire across all of our different stories and archetypes helps us move and feel and connect and go to the next level in our expression. So this week we have 7 episodes, 7 different stories. One of them is yours. And if you've taken a break, your musical story isn't over. It never was. The place you're at right now, wherever that is not the end of the story. It's where this next chapter begins. And knowing which chapter you're in is how you figure out what comes next. How to apply this today in just 5 minutes or less, let's just write down or think about your choice. You can even voice record it. The moment you first connected with music. Not your first lesson or instruction, but the first time it meant something to you. How old were you? What did it feel like? What were you hearing? What were you playing? That moment is still in you, and it's still a reason. Now write down, record, or think about your bigger dream. Not just I want to get better or I want to be able to play with my friends, but what's the actual dream? Is it to play with your kids? Is it to join a group? Is it to travel overseas and be a part of something bigger than you? Is it maybe just to record something? Is it to stand somewhere with your instrument and feel confident and ready and excited about what's next? Name your destination, because everything we do this week is going to point to it. That pull you've always felt toward music is not nostalgia. It's your identity. It's part of who you are, and you get to express that, be that, and feel it. I can't wait for you this week to find which of these stories is yours. Come find me on Facebook, EP Archer, and tell me which one resonates. And if you're a violin player, join us at facebook.com/group/adult violin, because I can't wait to share our violin specific stories. And remember, your best music is on the other side, and I'll see you there.